Okay, welcome back. It is late September 64, so let's take a look at how things are in um, Virginia. So Stuart is sort of holding here in besieged in Petersburg with two divisions. I've transferred command to Breckinridge to go back to Richmond with all the divisions that were really pretty much nearly wiped out last time in Petersburg. Longstreet takes over command of these three divisions, and he's going to target to meet Lee, who is then going to rail and come down here towards Petersburg. And basically, my general thing is like once Richmond is basically surrounded, then the whole force will basically surrender because we'll run out of food. So this is kind of like a last ditch gamble. Um, Over in Alabama, we're trying to continue to sort of set up a defensive position here with Claiborne holding on the river, and then Johnston holding here in Montgomery. We may retreat back to something like just going from Selma, Kingston to Montgomery. Um, that would be kind of like one potential choice. Polk is holding down here in Mobile, Alabama, but more and more forces are starting to get near us, and we still are holding a couple of towns here in Texas, but it looks like a lot of the other parts of the state will soon be run over. Just as really like most of Georgia's now, um, you can see most of Georgia's now run over, and pretty much the same thing with a lot of a lot in North Carolina as well is under attack. Okay, so let's run the turn and see what happens. Okay, so our last ditch sort of gamble was a resounding success. What I think happened was Stuart's forced, yeah, so Stuart's force, they immediately surrendered in Petersburg. And then by the time Lee arrived, there was no military control. And so that basically forced us into a offensive posture. Um, and so here is uh, incredibly, we only lost 4 morale, but 4-1 loss in casualties, including about a third of our artillery. More than half the force is gone. So kind of an unlucky roll there. It would have been a long shot anyways if Stuart had not surrendered, but I think with Stuart's force surrendering, that pretty much ended any sort of realistic chance of us actually being successful. So we've got a force here in Richmond, and then of course here's Lee's force, and neither of them are looking too great. Grant's force, of course, there is you can see is large, about 7,000 power. Um, Looks like the Union's getting ready to do an assault on Mobile, Alabama. You can see they've kind of brought in some forces there. And here is kind of the other situation in Alabama, sort of taking up defensive positions. Looks like we're now got the Union at our door, basically here. So it's getting pretty close. I think the end. I think it's realistic to say the end is near. Texas mostly stayed the same, except for the loss of San Antonio, which I think actually is an objective city. Maybe not. But yep. So there's kind of how it looks. I think we lose at 25, so it still would be a ways to go to lose, which pretty much means taking Richmond as expected would be basically the end of the game. Okay, all right. See you next time.